The NFL Honors Awards will determine the best players in each category in the NFL. And after a roller coaster of a season in which I would post only a couple videos about the season in general, it is now time for me to predict who I think is going to win each NFL award. Starting off with the Offensive Rookie of the Year, I am completely biased in my pick of Kenneth Walker. I don't think Brock Purdy wins this because he started way too late. That instantly eliminates him in my books. And Garrett Wilson, he just was, he didn't have a good quarterback all year, yes, but a lot of this probably is bias. But Kenneth Walker, even though he missed so many games, he had over 1,000 rushing yards. In my book, it's all that matters. He wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. But Defensive Rookie of the Year is going to go to Sauce Gardner. I was on the Tariq Woolen train for all season long until it eventually got to a point where I couldn't anymore. It's almost certainly going to be Sauce. It can still be Tariq, and Hutchinson's just there to fill a spot, even though he was great this year. But it's got to be Sauce. And also the phenomenal way I decided to show my picks with a very well-drawn circle. Coach of the Year. This is the largest. No, it's not the largest. MVP is the largest, but Coach of the Year. This is, first of all, Sean McDermott is the outlier there. He's not going to win it. Everyone thought the Bills were going to be good. They were good, and then choked in the playoffs. I don't know if I've had a time to mention it yet, their choke, because I didn't make a championship game video, but man, this was their year, and they squandered it again. And then the Bengals finally lost to the Chiefs. That's what you get for talking too much. But anyways, and I don't think Shanahan will win it either. I don't think he's won it yet. I think they gave it to Harbaugh that one year he should have won it. But I think that it won't be Shanahan or McDermott. It is, and I really don't know if it'll be Sirianni, because I think a lot of people don't give him credit for the Eagles' Super Bowl run, even though he should definitely get some. And in my book, that leaves it to Dable and Peterson. And the reason I give the edge to Dable is, A, the Giants did have a better record. They both made it to the same spot. They both lost in the divisional. But I just think he helped the Giants a lot more than the Jags. Yes, I know the Jags went from the worst team in the league to the playoffs, but a lot of that is probably to do with Urban Meyer being terrible. Both teams have came off terrible head coaching hires they had previously and rebounded pretty well. The reason I give it to Dable, though, is he wasn't proven as well like Peterson was, and he just completely flipped the future of the New York Giants in just a season. Offensive Player of the Year. Now, this one is a little confusing because some of the guys on MVP aren't on this, which is weird in my case. All these guys, except for Tyreek Hill, though, are on MVP, but not all the MVP guys are on Offensive Player of the Year. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and remove both the quarterbacks from this debate. They could give it to Hurts or Mahomes, but I just think quarterbacks get MVP most of the time, so Offensive Player of the Year should go to Jefferson because he could have been on pace for a historical season if he didn't slow down at the end there. And he probably could have got 2,000 receiving yards. And kind of same with Tyreek. If Tua didn't get hurt, he also could have won this award. It's just a shame. I honestly think Jefferson has less excuses. But again and again, I still think he wins. He's a top 3 wide receiver in the league. He could even be the best. You could argue it. And Defensive Player of the Year. This was Micah's award for half the year. And then I think Bosa snagged it from him the last half of the year. He led the league in sacks, I think. Don't quote me on it, but I think he did. And Chris Jones quietly had a great season. And originally when I saw this, I'm like, they just be letting anyone on this. But no, he actually had a good year. I don't think he'll win. I think this is Bosa's, though. Micah will almost certainly win it once at some point. But I think it could be the loser of this one could be like the Aaron Donald, DJ Watt. Donald wins it 1 year when you think it should have been TJ. And then TJ wins it when you think it could have been Donald. So maybe it'll be Parsons. Second to last is Comeback Player of the Year. Now, I am picking against the name of the award because you have to come back in order to, technically win it. But it's confusing because if it really was Comeback Player of the Year, Geno wouldn't be on this because he never came back from something. He just was good after years of being a backup. But if they're going to have him on it, he has to win it. I mean, Saquon, yes, he was injured, came back and was great this year, but he once was great. McCaffrey, everyone knew how great he was, but injuries hurt him. But Geno, he never really had an injury that prevented him. It's just on the Jets, everyone thought he was a bust. He ends up as a backup to Russell Wilson in Seattle. No one thought he was going to be good this year, and look, he's a Pro Bowler, led us to the playoffs, even though we did not get far, obviously. But it may be biased me picking Geno, but if they're going to have him on the ballot, he has to win. If he wouldn't be on this, I understand. Comeback Player of the Year, he didn't really come back. He was just kind of like a Most Improved Player award. That's a thing. That's an NBA award. But if you gotta have him win it if you're going to have him on it. That's what I say. And while I'm on the topic of it, I don't think Seattle should sign him long term. Maybe a year extension, but he's not. I don't think he'd be the long term solution. But next year I'll be fine with. And finally, the motherlode, the granddaddy of them all, the MVP. And as you can see with my beautiful circle, it's going to be Mahomes' second. And Jefferson is just on there to make people happy that they actually put a receiver on there, even though he's not winning. Josh Allen threw too many picks and was too inconsistent to win. This is like the third year in a row. I thought it was going to be Allen's year. Burrow ended the season well after like half his picks came in week 1. But he's still probably not going to win it. I think that leaves it to Hurts and Mahomes, and just Hurts didn't have the passing stats. He had the rushing stats to make it close, but I think they're just going to give it Mahomes. They love Mahomes pretty much probably, and this is his best case to win his second MVP. It looked like he was going to win it a couple years ago. Then, kind of a weird end to the season, Rodgers won it. And Rodgers won it again last year. Definitely winning this year. But, yeah, I think Mahomes wins his second MVP. And will that keep the MVP curse going if they lose to the Eagles then? Maybe it will. And I'm not going to say who I think's going to win that game. So I think I'm going to do a full-blown Super Bowl preview next week. A few days for the game. This is made exactly 1 week, made and uploaded 1 week before the NFL honors. I could go perfect for this. I do think the Geno one could be wrong. The offensive player of the one could go wrong. But I think MVP, this is probably one of the most predictable ones. There's only 2 guys who could win it. And I don't think they'll give it to Hurts. Would not be shocked, though, if the winner loses the Super Bowl. Because that would suck to lose both. But anyways, that'll do it for this somewhat short predictions video for the NFL awards. And I don't know if there'll be a video on Saturday. There might be. It may just be a short again. I'll have to be a live reaction again this time. But I did like doing that last week. I had a lot more enthusiasm because I wasn't like scrambling for things to say. I was just calling something that was happening live. Like, this obviously isn't like a live reaction, but anyways.